Welcome back at WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We're keeping calm. We are staying local. And I'm trying to tell some stories of friends of mine who've been involved in business or own local business. It's all I've ever done is try to sell people like my next guest a delicious shepherd's pie or a delicious Guinness. Or the last time I think I saw him, I was half sideways on a bar singing Pearl Jam songs with Ed Lauer on Christmas Eve a couple of years ago when my wife was away. John Moore and I have known each other going on 2 decades from his days at Maggie Moore's. We held some pre- and post-Oriole games back on Utah Street when the Hippodrome opened. He's been at the James Joyce Pub down near the Marriott in Harbor East, where my wife and I walk by so many times, and my wife and I have bent an elbow or three and had some shepherd's pie as well as some proper fish and chips with this man. The Irish accent's not fake; it's like really real when I have John Moore on. John, it's always good to catch up with you, just to hear the Irish accent, and you make me thirsty for Guinness, and I don't have to go so far anymore. They brew it here. How you doing, man?
Very good, Nestor. Good to hear you. Yes, unfortunately, we're not serving any Guinness at the moment, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that this day is going to come soon, that we will be back doing that. But things positive in Baltimore. Actually, if you look at what's going on and where we are, we're now, this is the beginning of week 3 of the close down, and the first thing I'd like to do is to congratulate and thank our governor in calling that shot. That was very, very important to do for the safety and the well-being of all the citizens of Maryland and the citizens of this fabulous city. Yes, we are closed down, we are out of business, but you know what? We're going to fight and live another day, and we will be back in business as soon as this is over. The most important thing is that everybody respects the decisions that are made. We're all paying a price, but you know what? We are extremely lucky. All we are being asked to do is to stay at home and do nothing. And the only way we're going to beat this virus is to do nothing. Keep our social distancing, keep it going, keep it working, respect everybody else. And when you're out, it's a really good, when it started and people were walking around wearing face masks and that, people were going, this is ridiculous. But you know what? Respect the other people that live in your community, that live in your neighbourhood, that live in your street, and wear a mask, because you could have this virus and you could bring it to somebody else. And what we want to do is we want to get to the other side. We want to be in a place of where we can all meet and greet each other and get to a better place. And there was an interview yesterday on CNN, and it was about that lady. I think it was up in Nassau County in New York, and her husband was 42 years of age and he had just passed away. They have 3 kids, and that was the most heart-wrenching interview on TV. There's a lot of, we've watched a lot of these things happening, but that poor lady has lost her husband. And today is Monday. It's 70 degrees in Baltimore. The sun is shining. The sky is bright. And there's a clear and better day coming. So we're extremely lucky where we are. Yes, we've gone through some stuff, but we are going to a better place. Baltimore is an extremely strong, and it's, as you can tell, I'm not originally from America. I was born in Ireland a good number of years ago, but I've lived.
Why are you here? Give the story of how someone can inspire me like that today with that accent. But how did you wind up here?
That's actually a good story.
What's a nice guy like you doing in a place like this?
Well, to be honest with you, like growing up in Ireland and in Europe, and that, people always looked to America, whether it was Hollywood or it's the actually, to name another football team, the New York Giants was always a big thing at home. But it was American football, it was baseball, it was the lifestyle, it was the Harley Davidsons, it was America was always introduced to in Ireland. We watched, like, today, life is completely different from what it was when I was growing up. I'm 50, I'll be 57 this year. TV was, you watched TV at night time. You hadn't got any of the iPhones, and you hadn't got, when you were growing up, you went outside and you played, you climbed trees, you did stuff outside. You weren't connected to a computer. You had none of that. So when TV, I can remember, like, our original TV was black and white, and then when we got this colored TV, like, we thought we died and went to heaven. But you used to see all of the American movies and everything that Hollywood did, and everything like New York City and California and San Francisco.
See,
and Florida.
you say that, but over here everybody was watching what the Beatles were doing.
That's right. The Beatles were the Beatles, John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Yeah, what a fabulous thing to come out of Liverpool.
Everybody wanted a Liverpool haircut over here, right? So,
yeah.
We always want. Yeah, I always thought the girls with the Australian accents were sexier. So that's just the way it works, right?
Well, they still are. Those Australian girls are fairly all right.
Right, I would agree with that. So are the Irish girls, but I mean, you don't hear it. They're just Irish to you.
That's it. But I came over here, Nestor, in '87, and wow. I live in Silver Spring, just outside DC. I've always lived in that area, but I've had a connection with Baltimore for over 20 years, and like the James Joyce here, it's open now 18 years. It's owned by a gentleman from Mullingar, a gentleman called Jimmy Fagan. He has 2 bars. He has the James Joyce Irish Pub, and he has Ireland's Forecourts in Arlington, Virginia. That's open 23 years.
Wow.
But 2 successful bars. He's a good man to work for. I've known Jimmy for, as I said earlier on, a long, long time, and I helped him get the Joyce open back 18 years ago, and then I was doing different things by myself. Did a lot of work with him, and then in 2016 he asked me to come back in as the general manager, and he was heading out of the country for a couple of years, and I've been back working here. The James Joyce has we have 48 on the payroll. Unfortunately, today we don't have anybody on the payroll, but I'm back in the office this morning. Everybody is signed on for their unemployment benefits, and part of that process is there's a verification that has to come back. So I come in on a couple of times a week just to make sure that the paperwork is getting followed through for whoever is signing on, and so to have everything, our I's dotted and T's crossed, so that they get their unemployment. And
trust me, I was on the phone with the bank on Sunday, right? So we were all, I'm a small business owner as well, and you know that. And I think this is one of those things where your Irishness and resiliency and hope and all of that and controlling your mind through all of this, because we're certainly getting to that point, right? I mean, we're 4 weeks into this thing. There's a little cabin fever. There's a little bit of staying safe. There's certainly a lot of watching others and trying to watch over others and making sure that we can all come back safely when there is a time for all of this. But there's the humanity of all of this when you say, I have no payroll anymore. Those aren't words that you ever want to say or you ever thought literally, right? All of this is new for all of us, right? And we all are finding some humanity, that we really are in this together.
Yes, that is totally true. And you know what? We just came out of March. March in the restaurant business and the Irish pub business. March is the cream of the year. It's like you have St. Patrick's Day, and in Baltimore, like, the community that lives in Baltimore, the people that live in Baltimore, the people from the city, the people from the surrounding neighbourhoods, the counties, there is an incredible bunch of people associated to the Baltimore area from all different walks of life. And being at the James Joyce, we are so fortunate to be able to interact with so many different people. And like March, you have the St. Patrick's Day parade. It's always the Sunday before. We have fundraisers for the parade. So, like, there's so many really good things that happen here in Baltimore. But yes, we're closed. It should have been our best month. Unfortunately, it was a disaster month. This year will be a disaster year. But guess what, Nestor? Yes, profits or earnings will probably be down, not just in the James Joyce, but every restaurant in Baltimore. We're probably going to be down 50% of where we were last year. But look where we are and look where we're going. We that your poor lady from New York that lost her husband. We have a city and a community to come back to. We have something really strong and really positive here in Baltimore. Hopefully, you'll be back at your old thing where we'll have baseball starting again. I don't know if football will be starting again. But we have so many wonderful things here in Baltimore that we can come back to. And, you said you mentioned cabin fever. Yes, people are getting some cabin fever, but go outside and do something. You don't have to be going far from your home. Enjoy the outside of your home. Enjoy the garden. Enjoy whatever's out there. Get those little jobs done that needed to be done that you haven't got to for a long time. I know we're at week 3. I spent the weekend at my own house, and all those little jobs that I were putting on the long finger, I got a good few of them taken care of. But we have, Nestor, for the people listening to your show and wondering where is this going to end, this week is going to be a tough week for all of America. The numbers are going to jump. So what we need to be focusing on is, when we get out of this, what are we going to do? We have a fabulous city here, a city that I am so, so, so proud of. And when people run it down and say things about it,
pisses me off.
Yes, and like when customers come in from different parts of the country and they say negative things, I take pride in standing behind the bar and talking to those people and telling them about the fabulous city that we have and how proud I am of the city and to be associated with this city, and how lucky we are to have a business in this city, and how lucky and looking forward I am to getting this place open again and getting people coming through the door. And when people in Maryland get over this, I'm not sure how things are going to work out in relation to where people go on vacations after everybody has been laid off. I don't know how that's going to work out. But what I would ask the people in Maryland if to do is come into the city, come into your local town, spend the money in your local neighbourhood, spend your money in the businesses that are around you, people that you know. It's very, very important for a society to stick together. Large corporations that own whatever they own. We're the people of Maryland, and this summer coming up, we have Chesapeake Bay. We have the countryside of Maryland. Take a day trip and visit some small towns. Spend a little bit of money in a restaurant, in a bar. The amount of small breweries, the craft breweries around even in the city, we are so, so lucky to have what we have in the city. We have other people producing spirits, which is fabulous. Just take the time and visit these places and spend the money locally. Stay within their city. And when you go out to buy something, one of the fabulous businesses that we have here in the city is Under Armour. Buy Under Armour. Spend the money that provides the employment in the city. Support the local communities. Under Armour, the amount of people, Nestor, that we see coming from all around the world that are associated with Under Armour, that is only one of the small businesses one of the businesses that is in this city. So you need to buy something, you need to buy a gift, you need to buy some sports outfit, you need to buy whatever. I just ask you, spend your money with the people, with the businesses that are in this city.
Well, I'll tell you what, when things get healed and fixed here, we owe you a St. Patrick's Day, and you owe us a St. Patrick's Day, right? So I get some corned beef and cabbage and some parsnips and some parsley cream sauce, and I would think the proper fish and chips is, and without a question, several Guinnesses will be consumed. We walk by your place all the time. We're looking forward to it being open. We're looking forward to springing, and summer being here and getting together. Who's the first person you're going to hug when you get a chance to, John?
The first person I'm going to hug?
Yeah. You're Irish. You hug people, man. I know this about you.
Probably Yvonne. Yvonne has worked here at the James Joyce. Yvonne has been here 17 years.
Wow.
She works every morning. Yvonne works on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning. Yvonne's from Mexico, and she's just an incredible individual. She works in a couple of other places. Yvonne will probably be the first person. Pedro is the chef. Pedro's here 17 years also. And we are so lucky. There's 48 on the payroll. They're all individual people. They're all incredible people. We have the bar staff that we have. James, Annie G, Margette, Mike. People come in to see them all the time. Ozzy has been with us for forever. Ozzy, I think, is here 9 years. Samantha Cowan. Samantha's a Dundalk girl.
One of my people, thank you.
Yeah.
I know she's special. That's all you had to say.
Yeah. Now, I will say one thing. There is a gentleman, I don't want to give his name at the moment, but he's a Dundalk gentleman. He's a Dundalk businessman. And when this whole thing went down, he came to me and he goes, John, I've always considered the James Joyce, the staff at the James Joyce as family. And on March 16th, he called me when we were closed down. He called me and he says, John, I can't believe what's happening. He says, I have some money. I want to look after some of the staff. And he met me 4 days later and he gave a gift to every member of the staff of the James Joyce out of his pocket. And I can tell you it was a very considerable gift. And that's a gentleman from Dundalk, Maryland.
Well, you know what? Since the last time you and I talked, my wife and I went over to Ireland to see U2. We went to Dublin. Summer of, I guess it was 17 maybe, 18, whatever it was. And we went to Dundalk, Ireland, and we took some pictures, and we went into a bar in Dundalk, Ireland. Imagine that. And it was Sunday, so obviously it was a proper roast, on a Sunday. And we met a gentleman at the bar, and we started chatting with him, and he was from Dundalk and regaled us in your wonderful accent about the history of Dundalk, Ireland, and told me that the Dundalk soccer team, the football club, was playing up the road. And sure enough, we went there. And this is true story. You can look it up. The name where they play football, the Dundalk Football Club plays at a place called Oriel Park. I'm not making that up, in Dundalk, Ireland. And this gentleman sent me a care package a month later after we got home with all of these Dundalk items. And one of them is a shirt that I wear to the Dundalk, Maryland Heritage Fair that says, "You wouldn't understand, it's a Dundalk thing." And my Dundalk thing is from Dundalk, Ireland. So, John, I appreciate the stories. You've moved me. You've choked me up a couple of times without realizing it with your Baltimore pride and your Irish accent. We're going to get back to doing what we do over at the James Joyce Pub. I would encourage everyone to go to the jamesjoycepub.com. John Moore, I've known him for 2 decades from the days of Maggie Moore's back on Utah Street. Now been down at James Joyce for 15 years and doing it there with Jimmy Fagan. And looking forward to getting back to the lamb shank and those delicious chicken tenders that I love and the salads and all the things that you guys do. And maybe Eddie Lauer strumming on a guitar from time to time as well.
Yeah,
So
you know what, Nestor? It's, this, like, again, it's like you look back and you count your blessings and you realize how lucky you are. Ed Lauer, you've known Ed for forever.
Almost 30 years, yeah.
Yeah, Ed plays here Ed and Frank every first and third Friday of the month. Like all the different musicians that come in, like there are so many people, their livelihoods have been affected by this. But yeah, looking forward to meeting Ed and Frank, Brant Dunn, all the different guys that are out there that come in and play music, and you miss them. You miss the people you work with. You don't really realize it until they're gone. And you're not in contact with them, and you're not talking to them, and like we're closed for 3 weeks. The amount of people that walks through the doors of the James Joyce, that people come in and they know you and they say hello to you, and then all that is gone, and you're at home, and it's quiet. And sometimes the quietness can be deafening.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, it's 70 degrees today. This is going to be a hard week, but look on the positive side, and look, we're going to get through this. We're going to get to a better place, and there's going to be a lot more, I believe there's going to be a lot more respect for everybody, for everything that we do, for how you treat people, how you deal with things, how we take everything for granted, or things are taken for granted. There's a new day here. There's a restart button. And there's got to be a level of just, you know what? Thank our lucky stars where we are. We're in a good place. Think of all the poor people, all the people that have lost a loved one during this crisis, and appreciate where you are, who you're with, tell them you love them, and hold on to them tight.
There you go. Wind at your back. He is John Moore of the James Joyce Pub with some words of inspiration today. And, corned beef and cabbage around the corner. Hang in there. It was so great to visit with you. We will do a virtual fist bump or an elbow bump or whatnot. I got my mask on the set here as well, John. So, but I am willing to take it off if you serve me a Guinness. I'll tell you that right now. All right.
You know what? The James Joyce. This is one of the fabulous things. Last year alone, Nestor, the James Joyce is a privately owned bar. For the last 18 years, the James Joyce has the number one sales for Guinness in the state of Maryland. Oh. Last year alone, we sold 34,600 pints of Guinness. Now, we sell Smithwick's, we sell Harp, we sell 17 other beers. But on Guinness alone, there was 34,600 pints of Guinness. What we did do, one of the first jobs when the governor closed us down, thank you, Governor Hogan, the smartest decision. Thank you. The right thing to do. Even though it was the day before Paddy's Day, I take my hat off to you. Well done. Our beer system, I got it cleaned out. I got the place organised. When we get the go-ahead from Mr. Hogan to open up, we will be serving those creamy pints of Guinness, those Irish coffees, Tito Mules, St. Patrick's Day Mule. We did that for a fundraiser. And we will have that corned beef and cabbage on. We will have that fish and chips, which is fresh cod. We will have that shepherd's pie, and we will have all that food. Pedro, we've been planning here. When we do open, we will have a smaller menu, obviously, for the reasons what has happened to us. But yes, we will have those Irish favourites on, and we'll have all the incredible people that work here. We'll be bringing them back as we need them, as quickly as possible, and we will be getting up and running. There will be Brian Myers, Edith Castro. Everybody will be back, and we're looking forward to getting to a better place and seeing Baltimore. I was driving in today. I live in Silver Springs, 33 miles. You know, when we were bitching and moaning about the traffic, I was there in record time.
28 minutes.
Well, I'm not supposed to say what time. I can't tell you what time it is.
Because if I did the math, I understand.
Yeah. But let's put it like this. It was a lot quicker. And there was no traffic on the road.
Yeah, but the GPS will get you in trouble, man. Hey, take care of yourself and keep the wind at your back, and we'll see you for a pint and some delicious food soon, okay?
Yeah, see you sometime in here when Ned Lauer's playing again.
You know it. John Moore joining us from the James Joyce Pub with some words of wisdom. We'll be sharing that, as well as, all of the local bar owners have been on. But this week, we're doing a lot with the arts. So we're going to hear from the Aquarium, the Science Center, the Walters, the BMA, Everyman Theater, the Model Lyric, the Zoo, all this week. Here on Baltimore Positive and WNST.net. Nasty at WNST.net still finds me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, and probably drinking a stout here really, really, really soon. Hello, Oliver. Good to talk to you as well. Back for more on WNST. We're keeping calm, we're staying local, and we're always Baltimore Positive.